Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 200th episode of the Bitcoin Podcast. I'm your first host, Marcello.
And I'm host number 2, D.
And I'm host number 3, Corey, and you're seeing us on video.
That's right.
Yep.
Live.
Today we have, as more often than not, Taylor from My
Yeah.
Crypto. Welcome, Taylor.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back, Taylor.
I am so happy to be here.
You're our
Guest
token
host.
white woman.
Yes, that is true.
We should have done video last time because that's when we were talking about the pigment problem here.
Yeah. We had yesterday. We recorded an episode with Chris DeRose, and the entire point of the episode was talking about diversity.
Yeah.
Oh, was it good?
It was great,
I
actually.
thought it was a great conversation. It ruffled some feathers. I got some DMs afterwards.
I mean,
you did?
I did get some
Talk about
DMs
the DMs.
afterwards.
that's Chris DeRose though, right? Like that's what he does.
Well, I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be diversity in crypto, not just a general race talk, which I was kind of surprised by, but it turned into something productive, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to it because, I mean, as big of a I don't know if you call him a troll or like I've called him a bully before. Sometimes on Twitter, he's a bit he's a bit too
Obtuse.
much for me.
That's true.
But the thing is, if you listen closely to people, you can usually find something productive. Or if you like want to have a productive conversation, you can usually have a productive conversation and like actually understand where they're coming from. So I don't know. I appreciate you guys actually like going deep into that topic.
We did.
Yeah, buddy.
It was interesting. By the way, he identifies as an orange person. And so does Cello, so we figured that whole thing out. So if you guys listening and watching right now want to hear that, you'll be able to. So we gotta keep the lights on though, right, Cello? We got some stuff we gotta talk about because we have to.
Yeah, there's a few things that are supporting episode 200. May 9th and May 10th, the Startup Societies Foundation is hosting a summit at George Mason University in Arlington, Virginia, to discuss how special jurisdictions, blockchain technology, and green infrastructure are pivotal to the rebuilding of Puerto Rico in the wake of Hurricane Maria. The primary goal of the upcoming event is to create partnerships that will establish startup cities benefiting all Puerto Ricans. So speakers include CEO and co-founder of Sensei, Crystal Rose Pierce. We just had an announcement episode with the CEO of BuildCoin, John Cronin, and CEO of Loki, John Wise. They'll both be there. So use the BTC network for 20% off your tickets. Go to startupsocieties.com and find out more, or check out the show notes. I'll have the link for the tickets.
And if you have been a fan of the podcast for a long time, McKibbins from McKibbins and Saucier will be there.
Oh yeah,
McKibben, saucy,
Sent me a DM
yeah.
the other day. Let me know who's going to be there.
Oh wait, a jingle for that one. If you wanna change the world, join startup societies. Oh yeah.
That's weak. Shit's
That
weak.
was
No one's
weak.
gonna-
I've
no
done
one's gonna
better,
Change
but-
the world from that jingle.
Yeah, you can. You change the world one island at a time, and you start with Puerto Rico, because every landmass is just some size of island. If you really think about it, science. Next
I want to talk about
sponsor.
tonight.
Next sponsor. We got to talk about I don't know, man. What do you want to talk about, Corey?
Wait.
You never bring in the talking points, man.
wait. You got a sponsor, dude.
I'll talk about Crypto Pub later, man. This is my show. I'll talk about what I want to talk about.
All right, Bill Burr,
What's new in
the
your
Bill Burr of the
your
Bitcoin
neck of the
Podcast.
Yeah. Taylor. So it's been a while since you've been on the show. It's been about a month, which is good. You coming back around every month. It's like a quick hop stop. You get to come hang out with us in the morning on Saturdays. So what's new in the world of my crypto?
A lot actually. So we launched the alpha desktop apps, which are like Electron builds of the existing site that you can download and run on your computer. And the nice thing about that is that you're no longer relying on, typing in a URL or, the DNS itself. I think you guys talked to Will, or Corey, you talked to Will.
Yeah, I talked to Will on hashing it out.
Yeah, on hashing it out the day before my Ether wallet was attacked.
Yeah, that was just pure happenstance. I can't believe that the stars aligned like that. So the
It
conversation
was
we had is so relevant to exactly what happened.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've been working on the desktop builds for a while, and we decided to like push those out a little bit sooner rather than later. There's some like UX improvements that we want to make, but the thing is that we're going to start pushing people towards using the apps for both desktop and then when mobile launches over the website, especially for like the private keys and the key store files, just because the sophistication of attacks that we're seeing is like just insane.
Well, if I have the desktop app, can I still get phished? And if so, like you said, the hacks are so sophisticated. How can that happen?
So if you have the desktop apps, like you could download a malicious desktop app, right? Like you could go to a phishing site to download a fake app. But if you successfully download that app the first time, then you're good. And that's like one of the reasons that before we had the desktop builds ready, we were pushing people towards MetaMask, because you only have to install MetaMask correctly once. From there on out, it's just there. Whereas if you're going to MyCrypto, like every single time there's like a small chance of error, whether it's clicking a link from Reddit or typing in the URL or whatever it is. So that's the benefit there. The other benefit is that with the app, you don't have, you're not relying on like the DNS system itself to serve you, like to connect the URL with the IP address and serve you the correct content. Like it just is whatever you downloaded.
Yeah. So like, if I can maybe re-say what you just said.
Yeah.
Like every time you go use MyCrypto, you have to go there on the internet, and so you're relying on when you type in mycrypto.com and then your page pops up, you're relying on the DNSSEC or DNS servers to push you to the right place, the right IP address, the right computer that's hosting the MyCrypto software. And more often than not, like I think what y'all pushed was if you're going to put your private key in to access your wallet or use the JSON file to access your wallet, you should be downloading the source code and running it on your computer, so that instead of having to go to some software running on some server somewhere through the internet, you can just do it locally and not like have a problem with that on that reliance. And what the desktop app does is basically bundles that software, so you don't have to have the prowess or know-how to download source code, compile it, and run it on your own computer. You just double click an app and it opens up. So if you can get that app successfully on your computer, then you don't ever have to worry about that reliance anymore. Is that pretty much right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to have an app. Like the first time we built it successfully, and it like started running on my Mac, and I had like the little MyCrypto icon in the dock and stuff. I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like it's just super clean.
That's gotta be a good feeling.
Yeah.
From a user experience, like, do you feel like it's going to be easier for users? Because everything that Corey just said is, we all understood it. Obviously, we're crypto users, but in the past, I spent a lot of time on ramping. Probably should get back to that. I haven't done it in a while, but at a certain point, it always felt like, well, I'm just gonna mama bird you out of this nest, and if you don't fly, I'm sorry. Like it was like one of the people would come asking me all these questions that I thought were very simple. It was like, I can't believe you can figure this out. And I either had a range of responses. I would let them figure it out on their own. I would sigh very deeply and like, this is going to be about a 30-minute conversation, and like engage them. Or I would be happy because I went through all the hard stuff the first time I on-ramped them. And so is this user experience good for new people, so I don't have to mama bird them and just kick them out of the nest, and if they fly, they fly. If they don't, they're coyote food.
I mean, as right now, the desktop app is essentially a build of the beta.mycrypto.com. So that experience, like we've obviously been doing a lot to try to improve it. But in terms of like really hand holding people and doing like a wizard type situation or a walkthrough, that's like the next big item on the list in terms of user experience. Because as much as we all love the 10-page click through where it like yells at you and tells you all the things that could go wrong,
it's gorgeous. I think it's great. I think it should be a quiz.
Yeah, there should be a quiz at the end,
It
right?
should be like a beta.advanced.mycrypto.com, so people don't have to go through that.
I do think I will say I think we have an issue up for like the next release that's gonna be there's gonna be like a secret Easter egg to not do the click through. Anyways, but yeah, like thinking about a new user who has just kind of gotten in and either just participated in an ICO or wants to participate in an ICO, or just wants to experiment and get into crypto. What is that? What do we need to teach them, and how do we teach them? Because one of the biggest problems with crypto right now is that you have so much like base knowledge that you need up front. So you could easily spend so much time just like dumping information on them, and at some point people get overwhelmed and like don't read it or run away, or hide or whatever. And so we've been thinking about how do you like kind of ramp people up and onboard them in a way where you're giving them like the pertinent information that they need to know as they go through the steps. So for example, give them the basic safety stuff up front, and then when they generate a wallet, give them more information as they're generating that first wallet. And once they have that wallet, give them the information on how to like successfully and safely store that backup. Sorry. And then same thing for like sending or ENS. Basically split up all that different onboarding information and have it happen like as they're doing it for the first time. And I think that'll be really, really like a massive improvement over like just throwing a 10-page click through up front.
I like that approach.
Cool. That means I can baby bird people all I want now. It's like just go to my crypto and enjoy. I'm out.
I mean, that's like the best way to get people to use your system. If you become the easiest way to on-ramp folks, then there's no reason why you wouldn't blow up. Because like, I don't know, once you spend enough time in this place, having the same conversation over and over and over and over and over and over and over again gets a little old in terms of trying to on-ramp new people. I mean, D, there's probably a reason why you're not on-ramping so much, is because you've on-ramped so much.
Yeah.
Like you would like to have a place where you can say, all right, well, come back, go do this thing, and then come back, and we'll start talking about the lessons you learned and where to go from there. That's what I do when I teach people or start talking to people about learning Solidity, is I go, all right, go take Crypto Zombies, go finish that course. When you're done with it, then we can start talking. And the people who can successfully get through that means that I'm going to have a constructive and worthwhile conversation with them. And if they can't, then I don't need to waste my time. And so there needs to be that type of thing for on-ramping people just into the space so they understand managing private keys, that you own your own data. What are the consequences of losing your seed phrase? Like these types of things. And so that we can say, go do this. Go get set up with a wallet using this service. When you're done, come back to me. We'll start talking.
Yeah.
Right.
We should set up riddles for people that come in the Slack. Just to make it.
You've tried to do that a few times.
Like, you must pass the trials of the Brothers 3 as they stare over the something stupid. Just like really make people search for it. And then they're like, I really can't figure this out, guys. Please help me. We're like, it's total bullshit. We're glad that you took the effort, though. We're glad. So I've been diving deep into headlines because we started this new show, Taylor, called Just the Headers. Because that's the perfect name. It's not a sex joke, Corey. It's totally serious.
No,
We're
totally
talking about the headlines in crypto. And because blocks have headers, we're calling it Just the Headers. You need to get your fucking mind out of the gutter, Corey.
Sex joke.
And at the end of the show, we ask you guys to send in just the tips. So, careful, Taylor. You're representing all of my crypto right now. So.
And all the women and all white.
Yes.
Oh God.
You
didn't know you're the leader of all of them right now.
So anyways, I've been in the headlines, and one of the headlines that popped up a lot, it came out on the weekend and then again on the Monday, was I got a news ticker. I feel like a news guy. Was Warren Buffett. and he's talking shit again. Warren Buffett is talking trash on crypto like at least 4 times a year now. It's like he's got it set. Somebody's going to his calendar and they're putting there, hey, remember to talk trash about crypto. And he's like, oh yeah, that I need a calendar to help me because I'm Warren Buffett. I'm very old. But what do you guys think about that? Like, does he even remotely know what he's talking about? Because when it comes to tech, he obviously doesn't have a great track record. I mean, let's just go down the line. Cello, Warren Buffett. You think he's full of it, or you think he knows what he's talking about? And we're all wasting our time here, caring so much about this.
Yeah, he's old. Old people don't care about Bitcoin.
Nice.
He uses a Nokia phone still. He's almost 90.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he's really a topic of conversation. But we're not going to get Bitcoin commentary and advice from a 90-year-old. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that when you, like, I even noticed this with myself. When I was like 18, 19, I had so much free time to like read everything and learn new things all the time. And now there's like certain things that I just kind of like, I just write off. I'm like, all right, well, if this circle's back enough, like maybe I'll learn it. Otherwise, like, I don't know, I'll pay someone to do it or just won't do it. And I think that that's like a really common thing that happens as you get older. You know, like I basically, my first job was, you know, printing out things and making PDFs out of PowerPoints for someone who didn't ever want to learn how to use a computer. So, you know, when you look at Warren Buffett, it's like he's nailed this like certain type of life, and he's nailed the investing from a certain perspective. Why take the time or the energy to relearn that entire thing? But like for Bitcoin, it's much easier for someone to just like, you know, write it off. And I think most of us, like even when we got into crypto, had that like the first time you heard about it, you were just kind of like, meh.
That's
and then
funny money.
Yeah, or like I don't get it or whatever it was. And like usually when I talk to people, it's like a couple times, like 2 times, 3 times of hearing about it before whatever something triggered them to like really dive deep into it. But if you're 90 years old and you're really successful at what you do well, you know, what's going to be that trigger to actually get you to like dive deep into it? I don't know if there is one.
Yeah, Dee told me that I was stupid for looking into Bitcoin when I first told him about it.
I didn't say you were stupid. I said if I wanted Monopoly money, I'd play Monopoly. That's what I said verbatim, actually. And you said, all right, man, well, I think it's kind of cool. And then you were persistent, so thank you for that. My new tactic is to just send people a little bit of crypto and then wait for the 6 months to pass by. And then they're like, holy shit, you sent me $5 and now it's $15. And I was like, yeah, crazy, right? Why don't you join? There's more conversation than that. Why don't you join?
Stop doing that.
Yeah, why?
Like, Corey, how much did I send you the first time?
You sent me 3 Ether for
you lucky son of a bee
that I wrote a long time ago.
For an article he wrote.
You lucky son of a bee.
Yeah, I paid. I forgot what that paid for, but it paid for something. I was really happy about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It paid for the Book of Mormon when I went to New York. So thank you for putting me to a Broadway show. And I still have more money.
Nice.
Hey, I'll check your email for like 4 Ether if you want.
It was like, I mean, it had to be like, I don't know, $30, $40 at the time.
Yeah,
I was super stoked on it.
I was super psyched when I got it, even for the amount that you sent me at that time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I still do that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's more fun now because like they don't know where it's coming from either. Like I'll just send it from a random account and they don't know it's from me. And I'm just like,
I remember
money.
getting it, and I, you know, being the person that I am, I immediately did some investigation on the address, and Etherscan had it labeled as
it was from the donation account, I think,
as a donation address for my crypto, and I was like, or my Ether wallet at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, y'all are awesome. And
Nice.
I was so
always
stoked. I was so stoked to see someone doing like real deep research into like like data, like just finding data. I still wish there was like more around.
I wish that I had more time to do it, but other things have taken priority.
Yeah.
It's always nice getting the whole numbers of the major cryptos. Like whenever you get like some money just went in your wallet and you look in its whole numbers and you're like, yes, I love whole numbers. Well.
Oh yeah, I got a quick story. It's my birthday this week, so I sent out this tweet saying, "Hey guys, it's my birthday. Send me money." And I actually got some money from a coworker that I worked from 11 years ago. I haven't talked to him since. And he was a software developer at this company I worked at 11 years ago, so it makes sense that he's in the crypto. But I thought that was cool. I haven't talked to him literally in 11 years, and he sent me a tip. So that's the crypto community for
What's
you.
the guy's name?
Pretty
Should
cool.
you give him a shout out or something?
We're not like good friends or anything. Just
Damn.
saying.
Damn.
You
Thanks for your money, but
after you
yeah,
were begging,
no
dude.
Dang.
Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip, bruh.
I'll see you next 11 years. I'll be asking again. It's funny that you mentioned that thing, Taylor, on the I call it like you allocate your ignorance. Because I think when right around the age of like in between like 25 and 30, you start to figure out like, oh, the only true currency is time. That's it. Everything else is just shit that we've made up to make life what it is. The truest currency is time. And so if you allocate your ignorance, it allows you to better allocate your time. And I understand that like my ignorance is infinite when it comes to new topics. Like there's somebody on this planet right now that knows more about flowers than I could possibly imagine, right? Like if I really wanted to know, the power of this age is that I could find that person. And if I wanted to be less ignorant about dandelions, I could then go get the anatomy, the femus, or whatever you call the anatomy of a flower, and I could learn all of that shit. But I'm accepting my ignorance on flowers so I can allocate time to be less ignorant on other things. And unfortunately, if you care about crypto, you can't be that ignorant. You've got to allocate some time to learning some things. So for those of you that are new, and we know there's at least 5 of you, by my estimations, that are listening or watching, you've got to allocate some time to being less ignorant to this stuff, because you literally can't afford to be ignorant, because you could be like some of the unfortunate bystanders of what happened to my Ether wallet last week. So there's my little soapbox moment. You guys have any other? What's up?
There's a reason for that, and it's because this technology is so drastically different. Like it is disruptive and innovative, so you can't use the same assumptions that you've used everywhere else. But luckily, because the age of the internet, like I don't know, I think people take that for granted. What you just mentioned is that no matter what the topic is or what is you're interested in learning, we're at a day and age where you can go learn it from the guy that's so enthusiastic about it that he spends his spare time writing about it or creating content around it. And so you can learn whatever you want from the people you should be learning from more often than not about anything. And like I remember growing up reading like remember anybody have the big ass encyclopedia?
Yeah,
like
Britannicas,
like 15 shells
and Compton.
Right?
I had them both.
And those weren't updated.
Nope.
That shit was wrong. It was wrong for a long time. And they were written by like, one source. And now you can figure something out from multiple sources from the people who are the most adept at talking about whatever that situation is. And so for new things that require that type of stuff like crypto, there's just a plethora of resources to figure that stuff out. Almost too much, to be honest. I mean, just based on just the headers, there were like 250 headlines last week?
There were 250 headlines between Saturday and Thursday morning. And I was like, holy shit, I'm just talking about 3. And people are still like, this is so much information. And I was like, it's not really that much information. You missed out on like at least 190 articles that we didn't go over. So, of course, there's some duplicates. They talk about the same stuff. So you drop that down. I'd say that there were at least 150 to 160 unique news items. So, there's a lot of news, a lot of information out there. It's funny, I had Encyclopedia Britannica, Corey, and my parents, being smart/lazy, they would like take random letters and they would say, all right, go find that letter and find something in the encyclopedia and read about it. And I was like, dope.
We used to get like regular updates, like inserts to our encyclopedia. And I remember being so excited when they came in. I'd read the entire thing every time it came in.
Oh, yeah. and Zoo Books.
I was a nerd. Well, I'm still a nerd, but
Zoo
yeah,
Books.
that
That was
was
my jam.
Highlights. What's up?
I had
Oh
highlights
fuck,
too.
I loved highlights.
Yeah. You're
I
kicking
didn't
it
love
old school
highlights.
over there.
I only liked the find the items in this picture part of highlights. Everything else was
Aw.
garbage. I didn't look at that stuff.
How dare you.
It was just that one thing.
Yeah, I don't even remember. So my dad's an engineer, right? So he has like heaps of books that are not kids books at all. Like I think the most like kids book that we had like in the garage was like The Way Things Work. Do you guys remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know that one. But go on.
Oh, it has like the cover. It has like it's all the way things work. The type is made up of like little things, like gears and like shafts and like I don't know, like things. It's great. But I would just soak in everything, anything. Like I would like be reading like some like, you know, there'd be like some magazines or like Scientific American. I think he would get all the time, and I would just like read it. But then I would go and I'd find the old ones from like the 80s and the 70s. Like I'd read them too. I didn't give a shit though. It's like I just wanted like any amount, anything and everything. Just put it in my brain, you know?
Yeah. I mean, man, we really took advantage of how facts are so free nowadays. And we took advantage of a time when they weren't that free because, damn, that probably cost a lot of money printing out all that stuff, mailing all that stuff
Yeah,
out.
my dad still has them too. He still has like
Yeah.
boxes and boxes of like magazines from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
He spent good money on that shit. He's like,
Yeah, he's like, we're not throwing these away.
wasn't no such thing as freemium back in the day.
Yeah, but like, there's too much information now, and it's not vetted. Like, that's kind of the we've gone too far type of scenario we're in now. Is that like you can get information from anywhere, but you don't really understand the quality of it or how well it's vetted or well sourced, and so you can like there is the ability to just say shit with the air of authority, and people will believe you because they don't spend the time. They're spending enough time just finding information. They're not going to spend that extra time to make sure it's good information.
There's a surplus of facts.
That's like tabloids. You know, if you pick up a National Enquirer, you don't care what the source is from. You're just reading.
You guys want to know a fun fact?
Yeah,
Yes.
drop it on us.
Scientific American, the first issue came out in 1845.
Hot damn. That's
Did
a
they
long
just invent
time.
science in it? That's right when they invented science, I think.
Seriously, that's
sure about that, Cole?
crazy.
No.
Well, we got to go to the interview. So this is episode 200. Oh yeah, it's like I feel like I should have more butterflies, like in like
Hey,
goosies.
you have an ad to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go into it.
Oh, sorry.
I've got it right here. I've got the I got the product here.
Sorry
But,
for breaking your thunder.
Yeah, man, you really just fucked up my rhythm there. No, I'm kidding. So this is episode 200, and it's brought to you by CryptoPub. It's a cryptocurrency e-magazine. The E stands for electronic, for those of you that live under a rock, and it's been a while we've been using that colloquially. So it's an electronic magazine. You can get a year of it for free because the next year they're going to auto-debit you for $99. So the first year's free, second year's $99. It's news, guys. So it's a magazine in electronic form. It's all about cryptocurrency. So some of their most recent articles, spotting opportunities with moving average crossovers, how to do technical analysis. Then they have technical articles too, how to protect your coins. Crypto risks 101, fishing for coins. So there's good information, like we've just mentioned, is that it's hard to find good information. This is one of the spots where you can. CryptoPub.
My favorite part of that is they became a sponsor before you started the Just a Header show, and they're almost kind of like your competition.
Well, when you overthink things like that, Cello, you could actually think it into that scenario.
Nah.
But it's CryptoPub. It's a magazine. Go get it. So today's interview.
But also listen to Just the Headers.
Also, yeah, listen to Just the Headers. So What are we doing? A
Keni
jingle.
Styles.
Taylor, you want to try a jingle off the top of your head for CryptoPub?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty.
It's too early, guys.
No.
Cello, how about you?
No, I'm not good at it.
What about you, Corey?
I think I might find something here. If you're looking for a thing to get your hub, go get the news at CryptoPub.
Yeah.
What is
That's
getting?
pretty good.
What is getting your hub? I feel the tones.
I wanted to say hubby. Like what women call their husband or some shit. I don't know. It is off the top of my head. I didn't plan for that.
I'll have to do it fast. Hub!
Corey, you should have just said no.
Hub!
You're never gonna get a response to that. Kevin's
Y'all are some
like,
bitches.
Kevin's like,
he's probably like, why is she yelling hub? Every day is new, and I guess this is what marriage is about. Every day.
yeah,
is
you did not come.
Maybe it's just me.
All right, Cello, you want to intro the guest, and then we could cut to the interview.
Yeah, speaking of love and hubs, we got ex-porn star Keni Styles on the show. He was our guest episode 100, and he's coming back 100 episodes later. Kind of give us an update on his life. People have been clamoring to hear more on the subject, and he was nice enough to come back all the way from Bangkok.
He's passionate about
He is.
this topic of conversation we discussed.
Yeah. I felt guilty for about 48 hours about the porn industry.
Yeah, I got over that real quick.
I had to get over that just for mental. Like, I had to get over that. I was like, man, those girls are treated right for like 48 hours, and then I was like, get out of my brain. So, without further ado, it's Keni Styles. Here it is.
All right, coming around full circle today, we celebrate episode 200 of the Bitcoin podcast. We invited back our guest from episode 100, ex-adult entertainer, STEAM advocate, decentralized trailblazing entrepreneur, Keni Styles, man. Thanks, brother, for joining us from across the world once again.
What's good? What's good, everyone? Happy 7 millionth Bitcoin today.
Oh, yeah. Last time you were on the show, man, was back in 2016, and you gave us like your origin story, like the aha moment with Bitcoin. And to this day, that episode is like one of the most shared episodes. People write it all the time. I mean, you know it on Twitter. Someone even reached out to you the other day. Like, it's just one of our biggest episodes. So, here we are.
Yeah, I gotta say thank you to Tantra Punk, really, because he mentioned it, and I was just taken aback. I was like, holy, that's 100 episodes ago. That's really fast. You guys have been going steady. I respect that.
Yeah. What have you been up to in the last year since we haven't spoken? What's new? I know that's a broad question.
Yeah, surviving the bear nap, that's for sure. Nice to see the balls back in Bitcoin. I've been shaky myself. Like, I feel Hodl Gang, or whatever you want to call it, has been disbanded a long time, and a lot of my friends, I mean, pretty influential people, when I first started getting into crypto in the beginning, they were, I felt some people were even like getting out of Bitcoin totally. But I mean, I have a pretty old school technique with my stacking, and it makes it really difficult for me to do impulse moves. And I appreciate that now, coming back out of the dip, because there were definitely shaky times where I would have sold out some Bitcoins. But hey, call me a bag holder, but I just believe in the original, the OG, and anyone coming out against it have to have projects that really inspire me. And there's just been more and more and more FOMO on ICO stuff happening, and it to me, I always think about it hurting the crypto game in the bigger picture, because how many times you're going to get burned in an ICO before you think the whole crypto thing is fucked? But at the same time, I know a lot of like, I don't know, we used to be called conspiracy theorists, I guess, but like a lot of the early day anarchists and libertarians and stuff, like, have compelling arguments about Bitcoin being bought. And I can't say much because I live off this. So, I mean, it's been hard. It's definitely been a challenging time, and diversification has been what I've been up to since I last spoke to you guys. Not necessarily in crypto, but in like revenue streams, and try to move away a little bit. Like whenever the charts are down, I just do my best not to look at them and figure out other ways to put money on the table, you know, and put food in my baby's mouth, more importantly. So it's been rough.
It's gotta be tough living solely off of crypto. Like solely off of crypto. I mean, that's talking the talk and walking the walk, walking like you talk it. I mean, how are you going through? Because even in the last year, there's been lots of dips. There's been lots of like 40% corrections, 35% corrections. We say correction because it makes us feel better.
For sure.
But I mean, you gotta have nuts of steel. I mean, there's really no other way of putting it. Like, how you dealing with those dips?
Well, I mean, the thing is, right? It's like this. I had no choice. Like the guys, your listeners who remember the 100th episode, they already know the story. But the thing is, it's like, and even more recently, I feel like the adult industry, they had a few, especially in the States, they had a few big things even in the last month that are going to make this real for a lot more people. But I just guess I was blessed. You could say I was blessed by being an alien in your country and having to deal with the IRS and the tax man breathing down my shit in the early days, that I had no other way to get paid. So for me, it wasn't a matter of like big balls. It was a matter of like, well, are you just going to go back into the system and be a tax slave, or are you just going to like believe in this and throw yourself more into research, more into like, I mean, I'm not a tech guy, but I've started learning. I want to get into programming. That's been a new thing for me. That's just another way to distract myself from the markets and just think about how can I maybe use my experience, the insights that I got off of my journey to be innovative in, well, specifically in the EOS play in the field, because I know that a lot of people ain't ever gonna. Firstly, they don't have the time because they're just hustling, keeping their head above water, and I value that as a currency personally, like having my time freedom. I don't want to squander it, so I've been figuring out like how can I be of service to my industry, if I'm going to call it like that. But, so I'm not like, a lot of people think that I went anti-porn and all of that. I mean, they've been saying that for years. I mean, it's been 5 years. Well, yeah, it's been 6 years since I've been in the industry, like active as a performer. But I'm still trying to figure out what's the best route for people to get through as protecting the performers and producers. I've been keeping a close eye on some of the projects that have been emerging. I'm sure we're just going to talk about them. And I just want to stay focused on like how can we use blockchain tech to empower everybody. Like I know I'm in the adult industry, and that comes with its own, let's say, prejudices in like mainstream. But at the same time, it's like it's not going anywhere. I can't suddenly be someone else. So I just stay focused on that,
Do you want to disrupt it, or do you want to empower it? You know what I mean? Because like the reality is like, nobody's buying. They're not buying Playboys. Insiders adapt to new tech or piracy. The DVD sales are waning. Sure,
Mhm.
let's give cam girls more money. Let's introduce a new infrastructure for the adult industry. But at the end of the day, I could just go to Beak.com or Pornhub and browse videos until I pass out from exhaustion. Will it be enough, though? Because the free porn piracy model is destructive. I get it. But do we disrupt or do we empower?
I hear you, man. And honestly, when the whole thing went down with Vice and Steam and how they went, I mean, it to me is like it's like a game of following the breadcrumbs, and actually it goes back earlier to the sort of the I don't know what word, like the split between Ned and Dan. It goes back to Steam, and then having to look into what because then neither of them will really speak on it, and it's like, well, what went down and why, and then I started learning more about EOS. And so it goes all the way back there, but ultimately, when I look at VIT or Vice and Joker and their projects and things like that, I still see them as stepping stones because, so yes, disrupt and empower. How about that? It's not one or the other. How about we do both? Because at the same time, you've got people who are completely unaware and getting directly affected by this monopoly that's happening in the industry. And so I don't want to say like, I'm not in bed with well, I'm just to say it, MindGeek, Brazzers, the whole monopoly that's going on. I also have strong feelings about even the type of content that they perpetuate and promote. And in that argument as well comes into play the whole pirated free porn advertising model. And so the concept has to come out, right? And so it's almost like you got to give them some yardage to hang themselves, right? So you got to let them run with it. And I see Vice Token and Playboy and all of them, their names, they have brand recognition. They may, to me, it is like, because so they went Ethereum. They went with the Ethereum route, right? And that was mainly because the SMT delay. And I'm like, okay, well, Ethereum, as a spank chainer with Ethereum as well. Like Ethereum is like right now. And so as a solution for people, even just to start learning about how blockchain can benefit the industry, I think it's a good thing. But I'm not ignoring the fact that they're still the players who have a lot of influence in the game, and they're still looking ultimately to keep their leverage over performers. So empowering performers, I think, comes later on. Once a reward model is established, because you can't argue with that. Like that's the only saving graces I see with the Vice Industry token, is that once that comes into play, you can't argue that. Why the hell would you be, spanking it for free when you could be earning yourself you could be a professional wanker, I guess,
Damn it. A question I should have asked myself years ago.
So I have the question that I have is, if you want to do both and there needs to be an empowerment, who are the people that need to be empowered, and why do they need to be empowered? Like what problems are they facing that they're not able to do what they would like to do, or how are they being suppressed, and how does blockchain help them become empowered? Or like what implementations of blockchain do we have now that aren't fulfilling that role?
All right, now that's great, and I always say that it's the two main prongs are the fees, so getting paid, right? So getting your money out of the adult industry in any way. If you're an independent producer or performer, you're gonna be hit with heavy fees. Like any platform that performers are independently producing their stuff, they're pretty much like campsites across the board are pretty much taking 70% of their earnings. I think, yeah. And they used to be, and I mean, that's changed a lot in the last sort of 10 years. but it's never really been better than 50-50. And when you're looking at someone like back in the day, producing their content and putting it online, giving up half of their rights and half of their returns for basically what they're getting is a white label. The webmasters were banking, and those same webmasters are the ones who really are the admin behind a lot of the tube shit that goes down. So it's not like it's completely fucking incestuous. I mean, what do you expect? At the end of the day, you have. I'm been in it since pimps found out about digital pimping. If anyone knows from back in the day, digital pimps was a big forum where a lot of people came on. But then I was around when a lot of real pimps came on, and they were like, okay. I mean, for want of a better word, they controlled their bitches. And they made a hell of a lot more money. They scaled up to internet pimping instead of just delivering their women to the motels and making and still taking half. When she come out of the room, they still took half, still drugged up the bitches, still fucking made them do shit they didn't want to do. Right? They were still being oppressed, and manipulated. That ain't cool. I mean, I obviously personally have certain opinions about sex workers, like escorts, prostitution, like being not being fair on the actual people who are doing the work. But yeah, when they went onto the internet, then they just figured out ways that they basically control the women still. So, and that's by taking it up to 70% now. That's really how it's evolved and manifest is you can be a campsite owner, and I'm a campsite owner myself. So I'm not trying to say that I'm not profiteering from the sale of digital online sex, because I still am, but I put my commissions down to the lowest possible that I could, which is 2%. Now and that's 2% of the 70, right? So the model's still getting shafted and still coming out with 30 cents to her dollar, right? But I'm taking 2, and the platforms are taking the rest, and it's like there's other you could call them manipulators or you call them managers. I call myself a manager, I guess, but there's ones who are taking a cut out of the 30%. So there's that hurdle that's blockchain could totally. I know SpankChain has its Ethereum campsite, but it's buggy and a lot of complaints. It's still in the works, so I'm not really going to talk on that because I'd like to see it succeed at some level. But a crypto-based campsite can eradicate a lot of that if it's managed well, right? Because of course, I mean, further down the scale, that you have like what is good, D-porn or porn D from the Steam sort of camp, mainly dealing with amateur level stuff, but at the same time, like you still have to you have to learn about the ICO manipulation and who are the pre-mined or the token holders in the beginning, and you have to be vigilant. And what we really want is from the base up an honest and transparent system that we can work with, and that's what I feel like EOS is going to bring to the game. If there's developers inspired enough to make it happen like that, because ultimately the people who have the tech know-how or the ability to do so, at the same time, everybody's protecting their interests, right? Everybody wants to make that. Everyone wants to be a whale in today's world, right? And they're not really thinking about the consumer base, or not even the consumer base, but the creators of the content. So there's that. But I mean, that's a big topic to talk about. We could go in on it, but at the same time, even if you come out of like the adult industry niche, then the next wall you get hit with is payments payment solutions. So in the last 2 weeks, and this has been a big shift for me because I had to change a lot of things. I had a lot of money coming in. Well, not. I had some money coming in from affiliate sales and stuff that I put out years ago that was still paying me today for advertising porn campsites and things like that. And I had it all funnel coming in to certain pay cards. Now, MasterCard and Visa, they just turn around, and because the US has a new law now, the Sester and Foster Act. I don't know if you know anything about those. It's basically new laws combating human trafficking and child prostitution and all of this stuff. But underneath it, it basically gave the SEC a lot of power and influence, and it scared the shit out of the payment processors. So now, overnight, after that came out, the payments for a lot of my affiliate programs, the payments for my campsites, that no longer comes to a payment card anymore. Now you have to have a registered bank account. Obviously that means having an ID and all the rest of that stuff, which, as we know, privacy is no longer a thing in the US. So you can't, the tax man needs to know where the fuck everybody's money's going, basically, right? Because they dropping bombs and needing to pay for that shit. So at the end of the day, I mean, this goes deep, right? It goes big, yeah. But at the same, and the same thing, there's no choice. So you can't get paid. So you can't get a card with Visa or MasterCard no more. So now it's like, well, shit. For me, I'm seeing it. I'm trying to see the silver lining as, okay, right now I've got some forced savings going on, right? Because I trust the companies. I've been working with them for years. They ain't just dissolving with my money, even though I got to say this, First Choice Bank, and they used to run the Payoneer card. Now they try to pull some shit because their press release saying that they would only release funds that were on the card back to the issuing companies if they requested them. And I mean, when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of cam performers, for example, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but they're folding. So I don't know. There's a definitely a clock ticking on people who are holding money on Payoneer cards. I advise anyone who's listening to this who has any substantial amount of money, and I know a lot of the cam girls do, is you need to start pulling that shit out as fast as you can. And I know that most of the girls, the basic card is like a maximum $200 withdrawal limit, but there's no limit on your point of sales transaction. So if you have bags and bags on that, then go buy yourself a fucking TV, go buy yourself something that you can resell, go buy some gold. I don't know what you're going to do, but it's going to take a long time to get your money out if you can only pull 200 a day. So
I'm curious, like, one, you're making me, like, just as a consumer of the struggles of the adult industry, just like emotionally connect to stuff that I have made a conscious effort to disconnect from for a very long time. But I'm going to have to evaluate that on a personal level. But I want to know, before we started talking, you were talking about Verge, and Pornhub recently was like, hey guys, by the way, we're taking Verge now. Of the litany of well-performing cryptocurrencies, we're taking that one. And everyone's like, okay, cool, whatever. But how do you feel about that? I mean, you're obviously very intimately involved with the adult industry. So how do you feel about Pornhub's move?
Okay, so, well, I don't even know where to start, because a lot of people in the industry now, actively in the industry, they cannot speak directly about anything to do with MindGeek, and that used to be Manwin, that used to be, who basically, when you follow the money, goes all the way back to the initial Pornhub, RedTube, all of the piracy-based models that destroyed the industry. And I'm talking about, like, when we used to be going to the Caribbean to shoot, or now you're going to Canoga Park to shoot, right? So for me, it starts there. For me, it's like, well, you need to know who you're doing business with, and you need to know the ethics and morals of those entities. They're called entities, right? They're corporations now. I mean, we ain't pointing. I remember the day when we could actually point fingers at individuals, but they keep changing. It's kind of like the U.S. government. They keep changing their front man. It's not any individual now, and they own so much property in porn. It's like no one in the business can speak out about it because it's going to directly affect their income. The next thing you know, they ain't got as many. They don't have a deal. They don't have scenes to produce, or they don't, or they're not getting booked for scenes, and then all of a sudden they got to go. You could just get tossed back in the pool, right? So for me, I don't do business with dogs. You know, I don't lay with dogs. That's it. And I see the way that they've been going, and the way, and wider than that, the way that the free porn model, the wider implications, the social implications, the porn addiction implications of that model and what it's done already in the short time that they've been around. And I'm talking about the millennials. I'm talking about the youngers who hit me up, who that's affecting their lives, right? Because they're too distracted. They're too addicted to the release of porn, and it's right there on their fingertips. And I don't think that is beneficial for the whole. So then that's without them. That's just them. Period. Now for them to be partnering up with Verge, which already like. Now I'm not even going to try to speak on it because when they first came out, just on my initial readings, I was just like, oh no, I ain't even going to read into that anymore. It's no point, right? Because I was just getting, at that time, I feel like around that time, when was that? I mean, there were so many other coins coming out, and like I was mainly interested in researching how privacy coins might be more suited to the adult industry at the time. And well, you know, like I just felt like, why wouldn't, if you as a multinational corporation looking to seriously bring crypto into the marketplace, why wouldn't you go with market leaders like Bitcoin or any of the other top 5, right? And for me, it stinks of some manipulation in there. You can't even imagine how much money they can put into their chosen pump and dump. And I don't know, man. I just don't know. I can't give too much technical analysis, I guess, on the coin itself, but I just look at the company, the mind geek themselves. And I just think it's most.
I'm willing to say it. Somebody up at the top of old Pornhub has a giant bag of Verge. I mean, that's as clear as day.
There you go.
I mean, that's just clear as day. Yeah. But the way you talk makes me think me putting that out in public, there might be like some ninja Pornhub guy waiting to jump from a tree and take me out. But like, I don't want that to happen. Say what? Tell them.
Well, Pornhub has a podcast too, where they can like go to the mountaintop and shout and pump Verge. And I'm wondering, like, if they attach, and, you know, Kenny, I'm gonna have a telepathic moment with you right here. I'm not gonna name names, but there's some porn stars that are back, even Spank Chain, that are releasing endorsement videos, talking about cryptocurrency, but they don't fully understand what cryptocurrency could do for the industry, or they just don't fully understand the fundamentals. If they're taking a position to be a spokesperson for this type of stuff, it's just a fad. Do you see that bringing long-term harm to the general interest that, you know, we're all trying to push towards?
Okay, so I feel like it comes back to a couple of comments. It's like everyone wants to be a whale. Not everyone got the time to put in the research and put in the study. Or even the inclination, right? No one even really wants to go that deep on tech because it sounds too much. But if you're a PR model, or you're a spokesperson, or if that's your gig, that's what you do, is you can look good and follow the script. And people are going to listen to you because they've been jacking off to you for however many years. Now, some of these people are my friends, but I ain't saying that they are the most read on crypto. Now, yeah, I mean that's harmful to, I guess, the loyalists of what crypto really stands for. But is it a progression? I think so. I think there's stages to evolution. I think that even no matter how hard we go on this is the thing is, in the free market, it's like there's not even really an argument about ethics no more, right? Because it's like, well, we're doing our thing. You have, in the voluntarist world, you don't have to buy our thing. But if we put this pretty people in front of you, you're going to buy it if you don't know nothing about it. And then that is problematic for sure. But what is the alternative? I mean, to keep standing by the projects that you believe in and create a landing space for the people that get burned, and also just create more education, find more ways to talk about it to the everyday person, and not, drown them in tech, and explain how things may be more risky than others. And here's the thing, it's like, to some level, there needs to be scandal, there needs to be drama, there needs to be errors, right, to spark evolution, right? So, I mean, and that's even saying that's coming from the more leaning to the more conspiracy-minded person like me. But to the more optimistic mind, it's like, well, maybe they're just going to control a lot of that currency and still put it to good use, and there's still a use case for it, and it could be a success, and then all of a sudden everyone can turn around and say, hey, fuck you, Kenny, you were wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong. See, that's the thing, that's the difference, is I'm happy to be out there saying, well, this is my belief, these are my morals, these are my ethics, these are the people. Of course everybody can change, but prove it to me, do something for the good of the whole. And that's different because we're in the free market, right? So, everyone's got their interests.
Isn't it kind of because a well-run blockchain-based solution for performers could give them so much more money in terms of the actual cut, wouldn't something that worked properly in the, I guess, an open blockchain scenario garner a lot of interest from people from the performers, because they'd make so much more money, which takes a lot of the draw away from the more monopolistic people? I mean, is that something that's even feasible, or they have so much control that it's not?
I believe so. I'd like to believe so, and maybe I'm like idealistic in that sense, but on a micro, like let's use camming for an example. Is like on the micro level, how I've seen it happen is that it goes through the amateurs first, because they are the ones hurting the most. I don't know what everybody's reason why they want to be a cam model, but I know that all the single moms, all the stay-at-home moms, all the students, the struggling students, all them girls got on there first in the camming, when camming days was the first out. And then the porn stars didn't give a shit, because they're on set making what you made in a month, in an hour. So it didn't really get the mainstream porn attention until 5, 6 years, 10 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, when you look at who's it helping, well, it helped a hell of a lot more people, because the porn performer or the monopolist talent pool is tiny in comparison to the amount of people that could be benefiting from a altruist, a well-run platform that empowers people, cuts out the middleman, and allows people to make money on their content. And I just feel like it's going to be the same with crypto that it was with camming, in the sense that whatever platform comes out to be the what they say was the saying that they use, like the first market advantage, I think that's what it's called, right? FMA, first to market, like
First mover.
That may be first mover, right? That may be Vice Token because they got so much backing from the monopoly, but I don't know if it's going to be the one that serves the most people. I think that's the beauty of having open source and decentralized systems, is that we can keep coming up with something that works better.
Well,
I believe
that goes back to that whole argument at the beginning of the whole disruption versus empowerment. Like, I don't think people, and you could disagree with me, but I don't think people sat around saying, "Man, we have to empower hoes. We have to take the power back from the pimps. We got to empower the." I think what happened was the internet came out, and that kind of shifted it. And if company A sees that company B uses this tool and it affects the growth of the company in a positive way, company A is probably going to adopt the same tool. So now we have Pornhub and MindGeek with Verge Currency. Like you said, there's hundreds of thousands of cam girls. There's no way we're going to empower every one of them. I think the only way that we're going to see change is if we just disrupt the entire system and go from there. I don't know if we should focus our efforts on empowering people, or at least on a singular level. I mean, I know it's an unpopular opinion.
No, I agree with you in some extent. It's like, you know, we all trying to do our best, but at the same time, you want to be the most effective that you can be, right? And so, for sure, I think that if people have the capability to visualize systems that can affect the larger group, the better, right? And that's what, in whatever field you're doing, right? But the thing is, what I see is that it's going to get to a tipping point of what works for some works better than for others. Put it this way, right? It's like, who the biggest, most successful cam girls right now never did porn, mainstream porn, right? And they've been banking for years, and arguably some of them are way hotter. I mean, I wish they were in the talent pool, but actually, with all the shit that's going on with the testing and the HIV and all that crap, I'm happy that they never went in. Now, what I'm saying is, a lot of the top name porn stars, they will never say it on a podcast or out publicly or anything, but they have said to me, "Oh, I wish I listened to you, Kenny," and they have said to me many times, like, "I wish I could make what that girls was making," because at the time, I was running a cam studio and bringing girls on and helping them just get situated. And I'm not trying to claim any of their success, because really I was just onboarding people. But being able to be at that level of the admin, I can see what they make, and I can see what they can pull in numbers. And I'll tell you, man, like, a lot of the porn girls who I didn't tell, you know, details specifically, but I was just talking in general terms, they would love to be making those kind of money. And so I feel like in the same conversation, but what we had with camming is going to be the same with these things like Vice Token versus whatever else, because you're going to have the people who are loyal to the brand or whatever, loyal to the monopoly, turning around and being like, well, shit, I'm still paying when I don't have to. These systems allow me to be directly exchanging with the consumer. And then what I can see with, like, especially once producers are getting more involved in it, I can see, and with smart contracts coming in, I can see that what's going to be a big mover is when you get the first sort of quote unquote professional standard content that's coming out, that everybody involved in the production is involved in the smart contract, and they're going to get directly paid to the success of the content that is being bought directly from the consumer. No middleman. Everybody's invested in the success of the content, and that's where you're going to have, I feel, the content is going to be the final say. And there is definitely a bias to certain types of content, and there is definitely a growing voice speaking out against that, and wanting to see, I'm not even going to knock what's out there at the moment, but I'm going to say that there's a growing voice for diversity, and there's definitely a hunger, I think, for more different types of content. And so, and especially amongst the performers themselves, and especially not being a social justice warrior or a Captain Saberhole, but especially now the girls and prominent girls speaking out about the work environment that they're in and the types of shit that they have to do, when they get a platform where they can produce content and get paid directly, and you know, even blockchain would empower zero risk production if everybody's on board is written into the contract. Then that means everybody's putting in their work, and I'm talking about not having the fucking creepy man with a cam guy. I'm talking about have the guy who's got the red, who's got the high end stuff, who's got the rig, who's got the jib, who's got experience 10 years, 20 years in the game. I'm talking about get the photographer who can really make you pop and look good, not the guy who's taking a fucking picture with his iPhone. Well, I'm not even knocking iPhone because that shit's good now, but you know what I'm saying? So these people can be on productions creating content that they want to be involved in, that they feel is whatever they want to do. If they, you can call it art if they like, but they could do that zero cost. Everybody's get paid. It's all written in. There's nothing to be worried about. Let's all promote it together. Let's all show how that works. And then you got so and so on the other side who's still working for the man monopoly, who's getting pressure from her agent to work with people who ain't fucking clean or questionable and doing other shit, or being pressured to go to fucking Mexico and put more plastic in their body and being fucking sad and just being not being empowered in any way, you know. And then
go ahead.
Oh, I just want to finish on the end of that. You have the depression, and then the substance abuse and escapism, and then you have the suicide, which we've just been dealing with multiple times in the last year. And that's what I'm saying. That's what it really comes down to, is like, how are you going to protect people who are already vulnerable, who are already ostracized, marginalized, and trolled every fucking day, not to fucking end themselves just because someone don't like them, or they have to do something they don't want to do because they're scared, because they don't see any other options, because they don't feel like there's any options. So the everyday us, the jerkers, whatever you want to call them, the consumers, right? We ain't thinking that. We're just saying, oh yeah, these people earning a lot of money, they're getting paid to fuck. That's the dream life, that's the good life. But they ain't seeing that at the end of the day, these are real people still, and they're still getting exploited in every fucking way.
Yeah,
and the blockchain can help it. I'm just saying, you know, blockchain can change all that, and you can be happy wanking, knowing that the content, if it's created using blockchain, it could be empowering people. I'm just saying.
We call jerkers general purpose people around here.
Okay, yeah.
General.
GPPs. I actually grew up with Super Mario and all the games, so I am Captain Saberho. And maybe we should try and have I don't know, I didn't know, like you said, Joe, it's gonna be hard to master.
Yeah, send me an Excel spreadsheet of girls that you know that are happy in the industry, so I can search for them next time I jack it, and I won't feel guilty. Because this is some depressing shit.
I didn't know it was that dire in the industry, but at the same time, it is. I mean, I guess it makes a ton of sense. So, I guess we got to wrap this up. In 10 words or less, can you describe blockchain?
Oh shit! I stumbled on this last time you asked me this. Yeah.
Or should we do Bitcoin? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I said blockchain. What did you say? Blockchain. Yeah, blockchain is. I think last time I said something real corny, like blockchain is the future. That's it. But I'm gonna have to check what I said. But for me, blockchain can empower.
Blockchain is
everybody.
Empowerment.
It's empowerment for everybody. Well, it ain't though, really, because people, until they learn that some ICOs are pre-mined and all of this shit, it's not going to empower everybody. I say blockchain education is important. Period. That's me.
I'll take that.
You gotta
I got
learn,
it.
right?
I got it.
And we gotta learn through mistakes too. And I say, you know, I think I said the other day, I said some will follow the money, some will follow their heart. Every way is a way. And that's it. And that was in relation to reward porn over free porn and just in life in general, you know, some people follow money, some people follow their heart. That's it. I'm not gonna shut up about it though.
So I guess if we could summarize this whole thing, there's no such thing as free porn. So we need to change the
Someone's
thing
always
from there's
saying-
no such thing as free lunch to there's no
For
such
real,
thing
man.
as free porn.
Hey, that's perfect because you know that someone's always gonna pay. Right, the energy that goes into making it, the energy that goes into creating something, there ain't nothing free. So I know this is a conversation. I mean, and you guys have just said it yourselves, but this conversation is depressing to a lot of people. Because hey, we all been having a party in our bedroom or in the cubicle, wherever it's at. Everybody's been having a party at porn.
Cubicle.
But I'm
Damn.
telling you, man, someone's got to pay. All right.
Maybe
Cool.
we
I
should
know
have a
that's
data to work. I'll put my Fitbit on next time, and like I'll just count those steps, and then we can like for every step. No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
I'm going off.
There you
the
go.
rails.
I see it right now. You link Fitbit to reward porn to gamify, monetize your engagement in it, and you're on a winner right there. You just put that
I'm gonna
together right there. So,
monetize my jerking, everybody. I hope you're
There
ready.
you go.
Anyway,
There you go.
thanks for
Let me know about the ICO.
That's
thanks for
episode
stopping by.
200.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed that interview with Keni Styles. Since it's episode 200, which is a big deal in podcasting, it's a pretty big deal. We're gonna cut to Ken Bozak, who, AKA the Bitcoin Viking, AKA Ask Me About Bitcoin, AKA the guy you'll see with the giant ginger beer walking around conferences asking pertinent questions. He's a very, very big fan of the show. He used to work with us. He got a tattoo of our logo on his bicep because that's what you
were a
do.
fan. Step your game up.
Yeah. Well, he got a tattoo of us, not of our faces. That's weird, but of our logo on his bicep. Unfortunate for him, we are doing a rebrand. So sorry. We're so sorry, Ken. We're sorry, but here's that. We're gonna fade out now. Gonna fade.
Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak. I'm here with the Bitcoin Podcast, and we are celebrating their 200th anniversary episode. I'm here with Min at Royal Ink in New Jersey. Say how goes it, podcast bros?
What's up, man?
Yo.
Are we live? You guys got to be my tech support.
Yeah, we're
on
live.
this.
I'm watching it.
We
Yeah.
are live.
Audio sound good on your end from the YouTube side?
That is creepy. I can't watch the show and listen to myself at the same time.
That's awesome. There's too many of you in your own head. So, yeah, guys, I'm actually here at a tattoo shop that accepts Bitcoin for my Bitcoin tattoo. How dope is that?
This is
I have
Awesome.
to sit up because if I sit back, I'm too black.
yeah.
Whoa, where'd he go? There he is. All right, Min, why don't you tell everybody where we're at and a little bit about why you started accepting Bitcoin?
Hey guys, so we are over in New Jersey in Summerdale. This is Royal Ink Tattoo Parlor. And ever since we had heard about Bitcoin in general, it just seemed silly not to accept it. And I feel like there's more pros than cons that I could list with that.
Yeah, definitely, especially since I think you just started using Square to accept cards, right?
Yeah.
Dude, how much do they steal from you, dude?
It's like 2.75 or closer to 3%.
3%?
About there. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot more than just handing you cash or sending you some crypto.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot.
Yeah. My artist will flat out not accept cards. It's like
Yeah.
big sign at the front that says cash only.
Yeah.
For that
exactly.
reason.
We gonna start?
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
saying
my,
that it should be cash only. It used to be.
Yeah. A lot of times, it's preferred. It definitely is preferred.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody does it on card, well, there's two headaches with that. Number one, now it's on the books if I'm going to, and then number two, now I have to get a portion taken out.
Number 3, I could go home and say my credit card was stolen, and I
Oh,
can get
yeah,
my
you
money
could.
back and keep the tattoo.
Yeah, you could.
You know what?
File a
Instead of
reg
accepting Bitcoin, can I use my Visa card on the way out?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you gonna do? So like, give.
That's smart.
Can I have the product back, please?
You start.
Take my tattoo off my body.
Oh, here
I don't
we
want it
go.
anymore.
Here we go. And it's in me. Ow. Alright, so guys, 200 episodes. That's pretty big shit, man. Like, that's a lot of guests. Some of the biggest, in your opinion, guys, who were some of the biggest guys you've interviewed?
Andreas. Andreas.
Hey, I was there for that one. Way back in the way
Yeah,
back.
we brought you in for that one. Yeah, I mean, we've had. I don't know. The whole point of kind of this podcast was to get the whole broad scope of all the things this technology touches on, right? We don't want to get just the big names. Don't get me wrong. It's been nice getting people like Andreas and Joe Lubin and people like that to come on and talk about things, but I think it's kind of more interesting to get the character pieces of all of the different ways this technology touches people, like shit like this, right? Like this is interesting to get a piece of like tattoos who only like tattoo parlors only accept cash, and this is they're more often than not willing to accept crypto because it's basically digital cash.
Exactly.
And instead of only accepting cash, like physical cash, they can say, oh, we opened up to crypto, now we accept payments from all around the world and shit like that. That's way more interesting to me than talking to somebody that has basically a pitch when they come onto your show where they can only say certain things and then they walk away.
Yeah, the coolest part is he actually holds the crypto, so it's not like he's looking for a fiat way out. You know, he's not using Coinbase or anything to cash out. He's holding the crypto or using it like on Purse.io or whatever to buy things. So it's money as money, used as money. Ooh, that feels
Not me. I started this show because I'm running for president in 2020. So, man, it came a lot faster than we thought it would. And I know when we started it, it was always like, man, I don't know how long we're going to be doing this. We knew we got excited to do it every week. In fact, it is what I look forward to, is recording every show every week.
I think that
And,
us doing this is a testament to like the grind. Like anybody who's listening to this who hasn't heard our early episodes, go listen to our early episodes and listen to how terrible they are. Like
they're so bad.
Dude,
I
the
was
first
living in
50 are my
Brazil.
favorite.
There's nothing but like birds in the background with my dogs barking, and like we don't know what we're talking about. Like, granted, we understand the technology, but we don't know how to do a podcast. And through like the last 200 episodes, we've slowly but surely learned how to talk to people, how to have some modicum of professional audio quality. Oh, there's some dogs. There you go. So we still have dogs.
There's the irony. Yeah. Still have dogs in the background.
OG sound effects. That was the Marcello with the soundboard effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a rap air horn now,
God
so the
damn it.
production quality has gone up quite a bit since we started. The production quality is just through the roof now.
You guys interview people in this space
so-
from, porn stars. There we go.
Yeah.
The soundboard.
So-
From porn stars to rappers to founders to developers.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Well,
CEOs, CFOs.
we should ask like why you're getting the tattoo and like what does the podcast mean for you and what it did for you and
All right, so
All
first
that.
off, podcast is family. But no, seriously,
Family.
like if it wasn't for the podcast, and like personally, a lot to D for pushing me to do more in the industry than just be a spectator. I wouldn't have learned the way I learned about cryptocurrencies if it wasn't for you guys. And if I didn't learn about it the way I did learn about it, I wouldn't be here the way I am here in the industry now. So my understanding of this space is, indebted to the podcast and all the knowledge that it brought to me. I mean, I started at episode 1 and worked my way up to the current episode when I finally caught up. And, by the time I caught up, you guys just seemed to be, like, really on top of it. Like, there was no, nothing to sell. There was no this or that. It wasn't pitching or anything. It was just, opinion on and facts on top of opinion and news. And with all that, the way you guys presented it, it was just digestible for me. And a lot of people, and I'm not the only one, you guys get hit after hit per episode because the way you present the information is digestible to a degree that wouldn't be any other way. And I just feel like without the podcast, I wouldn't be who I am, where I am in this industry. Yeah, man, I look forward to every episode. I look forward to, now, you guys have way too many channels on the network. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. It's just I wish I had more time in my week to catch up on all of them. And you guys are doing a big service to the industry with all that hours. I mean, you guys put in hours after hours of effort into this, and you don't ask for anything. It's just getting this tattoo is a way of saying thank you to you guys. And it's like we were talking earlier off air. It's like a time capsule. Like this period in my life means that much to me that I have to get it immortalized on my body.
Wow.
I think it's kind of funny. Like, we started out as a podcast on a Facebook group. It was me, D, and Marcello with like a podcast. Like, we just basically took recordings, and so all of our conversation went through that Facebook group, regardless if it was like all the bullshit Street Fighter talk that D would come up with. It didn't matter what it was. It all went straight through a Facebook
Interesting
group.
qualifier. You said bullshit there. I don't know if I qualify it like that, but
well, And then slowly but surely, we learned more and more and more stuff, and then we kept growing and growing and growing. And I remember when you came into the picture and started helping us out with descriptions and things like that, and then you grew up and started kind of building your own channel, making your own interviews. And here you are now, and it's kind of it's interesting to see like this side project that we grew just because we wanted to like talk about something, and we just kept doing it. And then we have also had people come up with us, and to see like where you have become as big as you are is also like it's interesting. It's awesome to see someone has made almost, I would say, a career out of something we built as a side project.
It is,
and I think
exactly what it is, man, and thank you so much for that, because exactly, I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for the, writing those descriptions and being, motivated to do the interviews of my own and stuff like that. This tattoo kind of hurts.
Love is pain, bro.
it hurts good.
Oh,
It hurts
It's
good.
a good hurt.
Yeah, it hurts just as much as hodling Bitcoin in a bull run.
In a good way.
Yeah, it's such a good hurt.
Have we tweeted this out?
Yeah,
Tweet this out?
I've taken care of it.
There's so many versions of myself on my screens right now.
It's very weird.
I got
The
me on my
one
left
day that I
screen,
picked
me on my
like
front screen.
a bro tank is the day that I go on a live stream.
Rocking a
So you
bro
guys-
tank with the chest hair out
That's
is
hot,
how I
dude.
prefer to go live, baby.
So in the last 10 episodes, we've interviewed a member of Consensus. We've interviewed a UFC fighter. We've interviewed a CIA analyst. We've interviewed the first heterosexual Asian male porn star.
Yeah.
We've interviewed the CEO of Edge. And this is just in the last 10 episodes. So that kind of gives you some scope of what the show is about and the topics that we cover. It's all crypto related.
That's awesome. Went from CIA to porn right away. Love it.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin and crypto has an effect on all those things. There's no reason to not interview those people.
What industry do you guys see adopting this technology in the mainstream? Like, do you think it's going to be the porn industry, the gaming industry, the gambling industry?
I think it's going to be the underground geriatric gambling industry, like when they're shuffleboarding and they need a way to gamble on their shuffleboard matches underneath the table of the nurses.
Cruise ship, shuffleboard gambling with crypto.
That's right, underground shuffleboarding. It is that's a good question. Right now, I don't know. I'd have to say the can you call trading an industry?
Yeah, I wouldn't give credit to one genre. I think it's gonna be a culmination of a lot of things.
But
Like what?
Nice.
in the way the history has presented, though, you can see the adult industry is usually the front runner in all technological advancements to the mainstream.
That we can't hear shit, Ken. There's a baby in the background.
Hey, that's not my baby.
That's what he said.
Hey, I will go on Jerry. It is not mine.
Your dog is louder than my baby.
Yeah.
That's what she
I
said.
have no things. I live in
Yeah.
complete silence all the time.
I mean, you
Half
can
the
put
crazy.
the baby outside.
You have
Don't
lasagna
put it
living.
outside. So what have you done with Bitcoin lately? Anybody trade it, use it? Like, I use crypto daily here, man. My tattoo, my eggs, bread, milk, my car insurance, right?
I sent somebody $15 in Bitcoin today.
No, that's chump change, man. What was the fee? 10 cents?
Calm down, baller. Chump change. It's like a month's salary for people on this planet sometimes. You got this chump change. $15. No, I'm kidding. Long story short, my barber here, where I just moved, is heavy into crypto, and he has these like crypto education seminars, and he wants me to come talk at one of them.
Oh, that's so cool.
But he was like, I just love it, but I don't own any of it. So I was like, that's weird. So I sent him $15 of it.
Oh, no, that's...
So he has a seminar and he doesn't own any.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was like, why do you do them why do you own it? Why are you so
Yeah,
why
he
are you
needs to
so
go
into
back to the drawing
educating the
board.
community on something you don't own?
Well,
And he was like, I don't know, I just like to see people do well. I was like, interesting response. But
Maybe that's how you
You
get
see that a lot,
crypto,
though.
should have told him
people
no.
that own it. That, like, I mean, my news show, hashing it out. Like, there's a lot of people who own, or sorry, Colin understands the technology better than most people that I know, but he doesn't own any crypto other than some Cardano.
Really? Cardano? That's his go-to?
That's his go-to. Like, he has a little bit of that. He doesn't own anything else, but he understands the technology better than almost anyone else I know.
I think he's gonna kick himself later.
I think
That's
so
gonna
too.
be a
I own a shitload of it. I got crypto at the ass.
But if you understand it, why not invest in it?
Good question.
No,
I
some
don't know.
people can't, you know? I mean, depending on the job you have, maybe you're not allowed to.
Maybe you're living so close to your means that if you don't have the room to we say that all the time, right? We say don't invest what you can't lose. Some people don't have money they can't lose.
That's true. That's more true than not. I mean, what is it? 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings for a rainy day or emergency.
I don't know.
I do. They don't.
They don't.
Yeah, we don't want them to put that rainy day money into crypto because if it dips, they don't see it as a buying opportunity. They see that as a,
It's, oh shit, my month's gone. I can't feed my baby.
Yeah. That's why I think Coinbase bought Earn.com. You
I don't
earn
think
Bitcoin by
there's
doing
anyone
everyday things.
that's zeroing out every month.
I think there's.
I think-
so. Let's go back to the question about like what's the adoption going to look like? Real adoption is going to come from, what I really hope is people earning cryptocurrencies through contributing online, and then that making their life better.
I thought we
Right.
were friends, bro.
It's like they're not like they get their money through contributing to some project online, and then they can pay the bills through doing something like that. Whereas beforehand they could never do something like that.
I know
And
plenty of
that's
people
the
in real
ideal
life
scenario.
that have made decent livings off of steaming. I've met them in real life, dude, at South by Southwest in Texas or in Philly even at these meetups I go to. People that don't have any way of making money to get crypto, they decided to start a Steemit account, and now they're earning it to the point where that's their career. It's crazy how big Steemit has picked up and made an opportunity for people to make careers out of just doing what they do on Instagram.
That's weird to me. Doing what you do on Instagram and being like, that's your job.
Yeah, man.
Well,
On
Instagram's a
Instagram,
job
dreams
for some
don't get
people.
trapped. Dreams live outside the box.
Dream your dreams, you dreamer.
You can dream any dream on Instagram.
My dream had a dream.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be doing more social media pushing
I think we
making
should.
money off that.
I just live too boring of a life to be on Instagram like that.
No,
That's
you
what-
don't. You're just not selling it.
Yeah.
dude.
Also, the last
boring.
picture you uploaded, the caption's cut off, so you still need to learn how to Instagram.
You
Other
need
than
to
that,
learn
it's
how to
good.
Instagram. You gotta touch the photo, man, and then a caption shows up.
I did touch the photo. I blew it up. It's still cut off.
Man, what the fuck?
Man, I could send crypto to somebody at random on Instagram by posting a private key once a week, and the first person to sweep it gets the crypto. And there's nobody anywhere in the world that can stop me from giving away that money.
Yeah, you can't do that with anything else. There's nothing else you can do that with.
Nothing.
Damn it. See, now I gotta delete this photo.
Here's a question: how do you feel about like incentivizing your listeners with money? Because like I want like I don't know. We've tried to build our audience as like legitimately as possible, like so that we know anyone who's listening to us truly cares. And there's a part of me that feels like if you're trying to grow your audience by incentivizing them to try and earn money, they don't really give a shit about what you're saying. They just want to make money.
Yeah, but the give a shit is a byproduct, right? So, I mean, like that's the thing in crypto, right? Microtransactions, they enable the ability for you to gamify, monetize, and incentivize people to interact. I mean, your data, your attention is valuable, right? Like, there's so many different ways in crypto I can sell my attention. You know, I could use pre-search instead of Google to earn crypto, or using Brave browser. Attention is worth something. You have to pay for the attention. Some people you can incentivize through gamifying, and incentivizing them for their attention that they give you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if the end game is to get the attention, then it doesn't matter where you start.
You hide that, dude. What if you do like a 12-word seed every week where you say this is word 1, word 2, word 3 during the podcast, and people have to sweep it? Ooh,
That's not a bad idea.
So they have
That's
to
actually a
listen
good
to
idea.
all the episodes to figure out what word's what, and nobody's going to want to share it. You're going to have to listen to the whole episode to find that word. Nobody's going to be giving that away for free.
So what you're saying is I should take my Ledger Blue, like generate new seeds, let those seeds be the words, and then people just sweep it out, and then the next week I do the same thing, generate another new seed,
Yeah,
and then on the show.
Yeah, you can do it, even stretch it out more. You can give one word away, and you have to wait 12 episodes to get the wallet. But I mean, there's nothing
That's
wrong
pretty
with,
good, sir.
There's nothing wrong with putting a game in it, gamifying it, incentivizing people for their attention, and then rewarding them on that.
People love games nowadays too, man. I have like Clash of Clans.
I had somebody I was talking to about like a room escape crypto thing, where it's like crypto clues in the room and stuff like that. I don't know. It's gonna be cool.
I think what Corey? Which ERC? Which one is that? The gaming, the non-fungible tokens, ERC 721.
721.
Yeah, I think that's gonna have an effect on the youngins.
What do you
Oh,
guys
it's
think
going to have a
about the
huge
wax
effect. You're
tokens?
going to see a massive market out there for ERC 721 tokens coming up, and then you're going to see exchanges being born around trading those types of tokens, and then incorporating them into different types of games on the Ethereum platform. That's the next boom, in my opinion, of Ethereum, is trading those things and then incorporating them to your games.
Yeah, if I can play one game and earn some coins that I can trade for Bitcoin, and I can play another game that I can't, I'm gonna play the one I can earn my money on.
I don't know. Imagine that type of scenario, right? You're playing a game, you get some type of loot, you get some type of item, and then you can sell that item for large amounts of money,
Did you
which
guys
you can,
hear
which
about
could
that-
then like pay your rent.
Did you guys hear about that game on Steam, The Count of Monte Crypto? If you were the first person to beat it, it exposes a private key.
I haven't heard about that,
It's
but
a
I almost
whole
want to
Bitcoin,
play it. Just
one whole
I like
Bitcoin
that
to
name.
the first person who can beat the game. And I was thinking, what if somebody, like Corey was saying, designs a game, but instead it's like Mario Brothers. If you're the first person to find that warp zone, you get a private key, and you can sweep it. And now, everybody that comes there afterwards, they can't sweep it, but now they're looking for the next warp zone.
Yeah, but that's a problem with that because the people. I mean, I guess if the people who are playing this game, they're automatically savvy on how to sweep keys, but there's a lot of ignorance around. Like, if I give someone a private key, about 99.99% of the people I gave it to wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah, but if they got, if they're playing a game and earning it, they're incentivized to learn about it, right?
It's true.
If I
It does
gave
give them a
somebody
reason to earn it. So like, this is worth so much money. Go figure out how to get it.
Right, but you're saying if you give them $100 or whatever in Bitcoin, it's not the same as them playing the game and basically, in their opinion, earning it, right? Like, they would establish that value of their own on top of it because the manpower it took to find that and then sweep it. So I think that would incentivize more people than less to learn. Like, I think the knowledge part is a byproduct of the price, or whatever, the value. The amount of. If people get $1 in Bitcoin, they don't care. But if they earn that dollar, they care.
I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that.
Oh man, my arm is falling asleep. It's okay. Hold on, I gotta get my arm back awake. Oh,
Tom, I'm
dude,
about to
we're
put you on
almost there,
blast.
man. We're almost there,
I guess
guys.
Tom is creeping on us. And he asked me in my Facebook Messenger, what kind of grown man wears a tank top?
What kind of grown man wears a tank top?
Who asked that?
Tom.
My friend Tom?
Yes, your friend Tom.
Fuck him.
Our mutual friend Tom. Start talking shit to him. He's watching right now. I know he is. I put you on Front Street, Tom.
Hey guys, we're almost done here, man. This thing looks
Oh,
good.
I got
Look
a
at that.
straight message. Are you really wearing a fucking tank top live on the internet? I lived in Brazil, man. I wear the tank top all the time. Tank tops are for life.
When you came over to
You
my
have
crib,
open toe shoes on right now?
and
Toe shoes? No, I'm wearing Habianas.
what the hell's that?
Flip flops.
That sounds fancy.
Oh. I think when you came to my crib for my birthday, 3 years back, my pops was like,
Oh my God.
when you just like walked in the backyard, took your shirt off, and flip flops, and were just chilling like barefoot. He was like, "Oh, he just really doesn't give a shit, does he?" And I was like, "I guess not. I mean,
I'm a doctor. I don't
living in
care.
Brazil."
Do whatever I want.
I'm a doctor.
Crocs or go home.
I gotta
What are you
go
gonna
to
do?
I gotta
Take it
go
away
to
from
school
me?
for botany so I can be a doctor in podology.
I don't think that's a thing,
It
Ken.
will be if I get a doctorate in botany.
I still think it's a stretch, even after you, even if you get a doctorate.
If I start my own study of cannabis plants and call it potology, it'll be a real thing.
It's possible.
Hold on, Googling.
Google
But-
it. Yes.
But given the shenanigans that I've been not able to escape, because that's how our world is framed now, according to Kanye West, you can be whatever you want to be.
Oh
I wanna
my
be a
god.
dragon. I want to be a dragon so bad.
Yo, me
Do-
too.
Potology. Dr. Nuke's Guide to the Science of Cannabis.
Okay, guys.
Podology's a thing.
Podology's a thing.
It is a book on Amazon. It is the name of the book is Potology, Dr. Nuke's Guide to the Science of Cannabis and the Sociology of Getting Stoned. This was
Interesting.
published in 1995, and it is
Oh, wow.
$12.32 on Amazon. It's probably real bad.
Yeah, I'm imagining it's gonna be.
I'm gonna deep dive into Dr. Nuke and see if he's a real person.
Yo, did you guys see that Dash partnered with Alt36 that just got their license? So they can be a point of sale system now at cannabis dispensaries. 4,000 cannabis dispensaries accept Dash via Alt36. Yeah, boy, they just got their all paperwork and everything all legalized the other day, like 2 days ago.
I don't have any Dash, nor do I want any, but I know that people love it. So
Well, I can buy weed
Shout-
with my Dash now, so I'm gonna be getting more Dash if I plan on getting more weed.
yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Nuke is not a doctor.
No.
Oh, really?
He has 3 studies: podology, whizology, and tripology.
Oh.
There's a series
Oh,
of booklets.
good God.
Yeah.
So the doctor
He's
is
not a
like
real
doctor.
a pseudonym, like Dr. Seuss. Except Dr. Seuss,
How-
I think, actually had a
No,
doctorate.
Dr. Seuss was a doctor.
Yeah, it was a doctor, yeah.
To fly a rocket ship, you need to be an optimist.
No astronaut launches for space with their fingers crossed. That's not how we deal with risk. What I learned from 21 years as an astronaut is that the more you know, the less you.
No, Dr. Seuss was a doctor.
Yeah, it was a doctor. Yeah.
I wonder how to get Wizology, you say?
I think it's more like the analogy like Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
He
he's a
modeled
doctor.
it after. He modeled it after a real doctor who studied the psychosocial effects of drugs, but this guy is not a doctor.
1995.
Dr. Dre is a doctor,
Where have
isn't he?
these guys been?
No,
No.
it's not.
He's got one of those free doctorates.
No,
they
he
hand out.
doesn't.
Honorary.
If he does, it
He's an
doesn't count.
honorary, I think.
What do you mean it doesn't
Not-
count?
He didn't
not a
get an honorary doctorate in 1988 when he started out. Maybe a couple years ago when he's a billionaire, they
Doesn't
gave him
count.
one.
Doesn't count.
Well, that makes him a doctor now. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Yeah.
count.
You're talking
You
to
fake it till
somebody
you
who's
make
a
it.
real doctor.
All right, and he
It
was
doesn't
he was
count.
Dr. Dre, and then he got an honorary.
No, this
And
is
now he's-
interesting. So a guy who spends all the money and earns a PhD, if someone gets an honorary degree, that has to piss you off, and you're going to discredit it because it took you like 10 years to get it.
Easily discredited.
It took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to get my doctorate of like hard work in science, and then
You
don't
could
get me
have
wrong.
just made a bunch of rap
I love the
albums.
Chronic, but
I
he's not a
love
fucking doctor.
I love the Chronic.
He's not a doctor.
I mean, when I'm
Wait.
feeling bad and I turn them on, it makes me feel better. I mean, that's just about as doctory as it gets.
There's a shockingly amount of celebrities who have honorary degrees.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Ben
like
Affleck.
a marketing thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Ben
for the
Affleck's
school-
got a
for the
degree,
school's marketing.
honorary degree. Oh, Kanye West has one too. How about that?
Where do you get his doctorate
His got
from?
revoked.
Chicago State University gave him an honorary doctorate degree 3 years ago.
What
For
is this world
fashion?
coming to?
Was it for
What have I
fashion?
done?
He's a fashion doctor now.
You have the same level of schooling as Kanye West.
Oh God! I went on Reddit and I found the first comment that said, "Dr. Dre is not a PhD. He's an MD doctor, since he has to handle a lot of sick beats." And I
Stupid.
thought that was funny.
I think I'm done here.
That's great.
I'm gonna go cry in a corner.
Him and John Cena both got degrees in thugonomics. That was another popular comment. All right, we're off that. Next topic.
Just-
Next
Just said
topic:
comment.
celebrities in crypto. Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
Ripple event. What do you guys think about that?
Say what now?
There's going to be a Snoop Dogg conference, Ripple conference with a Snoop Dogg concert in it, and it's invite only. Very exclusive Ripple event with Snoop Dogg live.
I don't know what to think of it, honestly.
What do you guys think about Ripple? Because I hate Ripple. Openly, publicly hate Ripple, but I think it'll be the next Coinbase coin, probably before they do that ERC20 thing they talked about.
I don't.
I say that's if that happens, then there's you can't. I don't know that
He's
they
just
have
going
already
to
laid out.
perform.
Huh?
He's not going to promote Ripple. He's just there to perform.
Yeah, but isn't that
Yeah, he's getting
promoting
paid a
Ripple,
lot. By the way, he's getting paid probably like $50,000.
What does it mean for a company like Ripple to start? I mean, you guys think about the company and how they've pivoted in terms of what they're trying to do. They've been trying to legitimize themselves since the beginning of when they started.
You got the T and the
They
T
then
there.
sold themselves as like the enterprise level coin that does bank-to-bank transfers or intermittences or whatever the fuck they do, and now they're saying, you know what, let's just go after rappers and do concerts. Like who's their audience? What's their demographic? What are they trying to do? Because
I'm just gonna
Ripple
say
as a
this.
company is a company and they're trying to make money.
Right.
I've said it in the Slack a bunch of times, and everybody just thinks I'm talking that shit. But black people love Ripple a lot.
Now
Well, I think it has a lot to do with a lot of things. One, they feel like they can't afford the other cryptos because honestly, if you look at the price of Bitcoin, and even though somebody is telling you from a mountaintop you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin, it's a psychological effect. Black people in our country just tend to not have a lot of money, so if they look at a Ripple and it's 84 cents, they feel like they can afford it. They buy a lot of them.
Yeah, I can
Black
see
people
that.
have a lot of Ripple. So who's an obvious person that you want to get to perform for Ripple enthusiasts? Snoop Dogg. I mean, that's just is the way it is. I'm in like 2 black people crypto groups on Facebook, and it's like all Ripple all day, and I'm like, guys, this is a bad idea. And they're like,
Can you explain?
you don't know what you're
why
talking about.
might be a
Ripple is the
bad
best
idea?
technology ever.
I mean,
Yeah.
Cardano is half the price of Ripple with a smaller circulating supply. I mean, they should just.
It's 95% pre-mined. Good though,
It's
because
Stellar-
I'm joking.
yeah,
I like Cardano. It's a great it's a great project. Just like it's not a racial thing. These things aren't racial things. Why is Ripple
damn.
why is Ripple popular in the black community?
because it's cheap.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
There's a
but
lot
so,
of cheap
so
things.
Stellar and
There's
Cardano
so many
are
cheap
cheap.
things.
Doge.
Well, hop up in black people and in crypto like I'm in there and see the tokens that are talked about, and you're just like, what? Why? You?
Well, then you need to be much
Yeah,
more of an
say,
influence in
dude.
those communities
Yeah.
because they're not going to
You.
listen to me. Like
I'm
and
not.
I'm white.
I took off my
they're not gonna listen to
ambassador
me.
for the Black Nation hat a long time ago, my friend. I'm not.
There's
doing
only like
that.
12 of you. It can't be that daunting of a task.
What are you? 12 black people in crypto. 12 people.
It's not like
No.
it's not like when we go to a conference. It's Wakanda forever in there.
It's
there's not
definitely
that
not
many of y'all.
Wakanda forever at the conference. It's definitely not.
Is like
Um,
asleep.
Now it gets Wakanda.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever at the crypto conference.
So you still have to hit
I just
around the
that's
base
just
a little
that's
bit.
just what that's just
Shit,
an
are you done,
observation
Ken?
that I had.
Wow, almost about 5 more minutes or so. Let's see what he has left. My arm is dead asleep though. I can't feel his face.
Do some like fist grips. Do some fist grips.
I think I'll just
Blood
vape.
pumping through that
I'll
arm.
hit the vape. That'll work. Oh.
I really hope.
You
this
know what?
works.
You're right. It's probably not a race thing, but I do know
Kicking ass.
it's weird because it's Snoop Dogg. But Cello, you said he takes crypto, right? Like his football league, his youth football league, they take crypto.
Yeah.
So I actually watched the Snoop Youth Football League documentary on Netflix, and from what I can tell you is, if I had kids, they would not be in that league.
They wouldn't be in football, period. Don't do football, kids. It's bad for your health.
Yeah, football's stupid.
You talking about any
Wait a second.
retired
Both of
pro-
you two stupids, be quiet, because football is the greatest sport that's ever existed on the planet.
If you want brain damage, yeah, sure, go for it.
Look, man, they signed up for that, and they get hazard pay. If they want to run full speed at each other's faces, then albeit. But that's what I want to see.
I don't know, man. I think flag football is coming, and I think it's gonna come fierce, man. That
Hold
Terrell
on.
Owens,
Hold on.
Terrell Owens, and Mike Vick and all them guys are supporting that electronic flag football pretty heavy, guys.
Nobody gives a shit about flag football.
Not yet, not yet. I'm telling you,
The-
man.
The day flag football becomes a thing is the same day I moved to France.
Yo,
I think
wish
XFL will take off
yeah,
before that.
XFL,
Yeah,
thank you.
same
I
day
missed
flag
that.
football becomes a thing is the same day that like soccer becomes a national sport for America.
I'm gonna go on Augur and put in some kind of prediction market bet in the next 10 years, football is gone and flag football is in, dude.
I bet you won't get a flag football tattoo.
And if I win that Augur bet, shit, might.
Holy shit, Corey, you don't know what GDPR is? I can actually educate you on that.
What is GDPR?
Well, it's kind of boring, so I don't want to waste time here talking about it, but I can tell you about it.
Gross
It's-
domestic national product? No.
It's this thing from like England or something that it's going to regulate crypto. It goes into effect like later this month,
Yeah, 17% tax or something, right?
something like that.
Yeah, people are thinking it had a lot to do with why Zuckerberg sold all his
His stocks. Yeah.
Facebook stock this year.
This is
That's
educational
coming
for the
over here.
people. What is this? I don't understand what this is.
It's a
So
isn't
it's-
it? Go ahead.
It's a
Joe.
compliance. It's a compliance thing going into effect that says that you can't export personal data out from your company. So a lot of these centralized companies, it's basically the second coming of an SEC violation.
Yeah, so Facebook, the way they make all of their money is going away. So GDPR is starting in Europe, and it's going to make its way around the world because it's really solidly put together. But if that happens, people like Facebook and Snapchat and blah, 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 that sell
Wait.
the shit out of your activity.
So Cambridge Analytica went out of business.
Yeah, they
The,
did.
Would
the
you like
regulation, I'm going to get this straight. The regulation is, say I'm a company and I have a bunch of users. I can't mine their data and then sell that usage data to another company for profit?
Yeah, it's a data protection law.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well then, what's the like? What's
Lots
the
and
point of
lots
all
of
this?
ads.
It's like if it's illegal to sell data, centralization services no longer become economically feasible. Because that's the point of running free services. The reason why all the massive services that we have now are free is because they're selling your data. If they can't sell your data, those services will not be free.
Yeah, but Corey, have you also noticed the trend that a lot of the better services now aren't giving you the good stuff for free anymore because they're not selling your data?
All right, say what's up with Google and tell me, and then keep going.
Well, Google's unstoppable, man. They're literally unstoppable. They've been.
What
doing
if
it
what if
forever.
it's illegal to sell that data?
They'll pay a way to change that law the next day.
Okay, what about all the government contracts they have? What about all the other products that they sell? Like Google does different things. They've been around long enough that they're gonna survive that. But like Slack is a great service, but they charge an arm and a leg for their service if you want the pro, because they're probably not selling your usage data that much. And like all these new services I go to and try to use, the free version is just a piece of crap, and then you got to pay $20 a month for the service.
But they do that on
You know,
purpose
so-
with that free crappy version, man.
Man, sometimes you can't make gold with the free crappy version.
Well,
Sometimes
maybe this is a push. Maybe this ends up being a push for more decentralized services because the centralized model doesn't work anymore. Freemium models only work to a certain extent, but if you control your data, you can make profits from it, and then the applications in between, decentralized applications in between, can then make a fraction by using a service but not ever holding your data, then it's a reason for people to develop applications on decentralized networks.
I just want people to develop decentralized networks.
That's what I mean. This is incentivize them to do so. If it's no longer profitable to make centralized services and sell that data.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people tried to get on the crypto train last year, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and then we had this mass exodus in the first quarter.
Well, Zuckerberg
They
said
see the
at
writing on the
beginning
wall.
Of the year, Zuckerberg said he's going to spend this year for the first time he never looked at it at blockchain technology. So we'll find out real soon.
I mean, the thing is that like you can do a freemium model without selling people's data. There's really two metrics you care about when you're running a business on the freemium model. That is the cost per user and the length of time it takes to turn a user from a free user to a paid user. You don't have to sell their data for that. You can just make really, really, really awesome services and then say like, hey, we're gonna start charging you for these awesome services.
All right, so hear me out. You let me you charge me for the services. Let me pay you for your services. But I have the choice to take that data and sell it to the companies that you would have sold it to myself to make the money to pay you for the service.
Or one of the services is I take the data and I put it in front of the companies and I take a little bit by being the middleman. But I give you the money you make from your data, but I skim a little off the top for being the middleman because I've already been getting money from those people already. I've got the relationship. I'm just gonna give you some kickbacks.
I like it. Let's do it.
I mean, there's ways to run a freemium business model without leeching off of the data from your customers. But, Cello, I'm glad you brought that up, man. I forgot all about GDPR. It is live in Europe.
Well, at my day job, they talked about it every day.
That's so sore.
Live.
We done here?
We're done, guys.
I think
you got
so.
a full-on Bitcoin podcast tattoo.
Let's check it out.
Now, if you want, what I could do is you see how there's a B. You see how
All right, so we are shutting down the Bitcoin Podcast Network.
Yeah, after it heals up.
We're actually, Ken, we're thinking about getting rebranded. We wanted to get your opinion on the icon.
The crypto podcast. You guys are going all out.
The blockchain podcast.
The blockchain podcast. I like it. I'll have to get it fixed up. I'll go get it touched up. You have the sandpaper.
We do own
right?
the blockchain podcast
Yeah,
network,
we have
right?
sandpaper. We can fix that.
You got to come down a little bit.
Oh my god.
There it is.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh man.
Shit. Holy shit.
I love it.
Can we get a screenshot of that? I want a screenshot.
Yeah.
I don't know how to screenshot.
Take a good picture of that and send it to us, and we'll blast it out.
Yeah, take a picture that's a little bit higher quality than this live stream.
That's
It
awesome.
doesn't have homegirl with the short shorts in the background doing her thing in it.
Yeah.
And we can And we gonna. Dang, my eyes gravitated.
Oh man, this is the man right here.
What's up, guys?
There he is, man. Here, man, open up your wallet so I can send you some Dash right now. I'll send
Yeah,
you some Dash to pay for this. I know it's ironic because this is the Bitcoin podcast, but we're gonna send this man some Dash right now because my other wallet wasn't working.
We as the Bitcoin podcast do not support Dash.
Yeah, I mean, Dash was Dash. What do we support?
I really don't. I don't think we support anything really.
I support what's his name, Beto, the
You have the Edge
congressman
wallet?
running here in Texaco.
Don't.
Vote for
I
You don't
Beto.
have
support
a Dash
him,
wallet
too.
yet? I thought you
Vote
already
for
had it
Beto.
from
I
Lace Me Up.
did. I got a new phone.
New phone.
Yeah.
New phone.
Vote for
problems.
Beto if you're in
All right,
Texas.
all right, off air, I guess I'll send him some crypto, guys. All right. So he's gonna download the cryptocurrency wallet. I'm gonna send him some crypto to pay for it. New phone problems. That's
Beto.
what it is. All right, guys.
All right, Ken, send
Thank
me a
you,
bill.
guys.
We'll pay for it.
Appreciate it, man. All right, guys. Love you guys. Everybody, check out the links in the description box below. Shout out to the Bitcoin podcast. Congratulations on the 200 episodes, guys. There's links in the description box for that. And there's a link in the description box if you're local. You can come get a tattoo and pay for it in crypto. All right, guys. Have a day.